The only issue with that is when your life becomes so fast that you neglect or you conveniently leave out the things that are important to you, to your life, to the way that you imagined your relationship to turn out, to the way that you imagined your family to have their values ingrained in the way that they live. These are all pieces that we can create for ourselves, right? And I'm going to share some of those pieces today. Hey everybody, we are live on Facebook here, we're live on Instagram here, we're live on the podcast here. Anything that is talking about today, you will be able to catch on the post-recording on any of the podcast channels that we release this to. Today is going to be about, as promised, this is about how to maintain your dream lifestyle, even in a busy life. So whether you're new parents like Loa and myself are, or if you are someone who just lives a busy lifestyle, you know, like, geez, life is busy, which is crazy to me because we have so much more technology than ever before, but we're so often working more than ever. And some part of that just doesn't quite make sense. And for me, the part of that doesn't make sense is that you are a human being. We all are, myself included. You're a human being, and you do not deserve to be worked like a robot. And so if you're one of those people that is kind of living your life in that way, kind of robotic, like, wake up, I gotta do the thing, and then do the thing, and then rush to the work, and then drive the thing to the kids, and then blah, 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 blah. It's like, there's just so much happening in the mind. And it's not sustainable. It's not gonna work forever to continue on that path of being so go in service to everyone else's needs, busy and stressed with work, don't know how to create intimacy in your life, craving more connection with yourself, with your partner, with your kids, wanting to have more quality time with them is a really normal desire for most people, for them. When I say them, I mean your kids or your partner or even yourself, right? So we all desire that as humans, but somehow we are living this pretty fast-paced life, most of us. And unfortunately, let me just clear some things up. Nothing wrong with a fast-paced life. I actually love a fast-paced life some days. The only issue with that is when your life becomes so fast that you neglect or you conveniently leave out the things that are important to you, to your life, to the way that you imagined your relationship to turn out, to the way that you imagined your family to have their values ingrained in the way that they live. These are all pieces that we can create for ourselves, right? And I'm going to share some of those pieces today. So if you're one of those people, you're in burnout or on the edge of burnout, or you're close to the next thing, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm pushing myself towards that next goal, and you're like, oh, like if I just get there, yeah, you know what I mean? Like if I just get that promotion, if I just get that one new client, like that, life will be happy, life will be good. There's so much of your life that you are outsourcing your dreams. You're outsourcing your validation. You're motivated extrinsically, right? And so part of what I'll share today, and one of the secrets to transforming your family life, to transforming your own life, to living in a state of abundance, living in a state of knowing in your heart that you are on the right path because you're doing so much of the things that you love. You're living the life that you love, right? So much of that comes down to a few very basic things. And I have been fortunate enough to have studied many of these things, partially because of my own life experience, my own traumatic events, my own family dynamics, and it's led me down this path of really deeply living with with a lot of baggage, and needing to unpack some of that baggage to stop living a life for my parents, or stop living a life for my old hockey buddies, or stop living a life for other people in general, and start to live a life for myself. So I have a background as a therapist. I'm a craniosacral therapist, a clinical breath worker, and nervous system specialist. I ran a clinic in Vancouver, Canada for a few years, and there is still a team of practitioners back in Canada running that clinic now, or various different practices. So along my journey of becoming a therapist, I did what every good therapist probably does, and I went home and tried to fix my family. And didn't work. Surprise, surprise. Although some things did help. And when I figured out that I can't save my family, I can't fix my family, but I can live an inspiring life and invite them into it, things really started to change for them, which was really cool. So the gift in that is, one, I learned a lot about the nervous system, about emotional regulation, and about family dynamics. And two is I learned that actually by living a more enjoyable life that you love, you will bring people along on that journey with you. And you can't change or fix people, but you can inspire, move, and touch people. And so I want to give you some of the tools to do that. And of course, having a background in nervous system regulation, I want to give you the perspective that the number one tool that we use in our family every single day is nervous system regulation. And we'll get into a little bit further what that actually means and how that might actually look. And I've actually got a course coming up, a mini training, and it's going to be to unlock the secrets for transforming your family life through nervous system mastery. So I'll put a link to that at the end here, or you can drop me a DM and I can send you details. But that when that's coming out, if you're watching along on YouTube, I'll just drop a comment below and I'll reach out to you. But the way that we think about everything in our family life, about building our life, about our dream life, about adventuring, about the way we raise our kids, the way we interact with each other and relate to each other, is all centered around nervous system regulation. And here's why. Because we all live busy lives, right? Like, you have a full schedule. You have probably work, and probably a family to take care of, or at least yourself to take care of. Maybe you have a dog or a car that needs maintenance, right? Like, life requires maintenance. And what I've found is that if all of that maintenance is outward facing, we tend to neglect and disconnect from this thing that needs maintenance, right? So what does it really mean to tap inward, to be intrinsically motivated, to be someone who isn't missing, the sweetness of life, the goodness of life, the things that you really love and care about? What's it like? Well, it feels like regulation. It feels normal. It feels normal. And it's these moments of normalcy that sometimes we forget are so special until, someone passes on to the next life and we think, wow, I just miss the way that they used to smile or used to laugh or used to sit on the couch that way. And we miss these little things that are so impactful, so important. And the normalcy builds up regulation, right? So I get into how to actually build these special moments, these memorable moments in this training that I've got coming up, nervous system mastery for family life and increasing intimacy. But if you're someone who really wants to create nervous system regulation, there's a few basic principles that you need to understand. So I talked about moments of normalcy. The reason that those are important is because they're familiar, right? We've got a little baby at home right now, and it's really tempting to just love on him so hard and just always be in his face and be playing with him and squeezing his cheeks and doing all these stimulating things with him. And my wife and I remind each other sometimes hey, remember to have some more moments of non-stimulation, moments of boring moments of meditating with him. And those are such special, deeply connecting moments. And so these moments of normalcy are created in there's not much changing, there's not much shifting, there's kind of a flat line. And that flat line is something that I want us to really start to understand today. And that flat line is the moment of normalcy, right? And we can imagine the heart rate. The heart rate is a great indicator of the way that your nervous system is operating. Pretty simple. The nervous system really has two speeds or two directions. It's upregulation or downregulation, right? So if we think of that flat line as neutrality, maybe normal moments or moments of familiarity, we can consider what brings more stimulation and what brings less stimulation, or what excites us or speeds up our heart rate and what slows down our heart rate and relaxes us, right? So in moments of sleep or rest, our heart rate is very slow. Whenever we're exhaling, our heart rate is slowing down. Whenever we're inhaling or we're excited by things or stimulated by things, our heart rate is going up, right? So I want you to check in with yourself in this moment and just see, what is it that would help me feel more connected to the life that I want to live in this moment? Maybe it's upregulation and stimulation, but maybe it's actually downregulation and rest and connection to self. I've worked with a lot of humans, thousands of them, and taken them through really deep breathwork journeys where I'm able to read their nervous system and understand what it is that they really need. And it's not just me deciding, it's me in conversation with them before, during, and after the session. And having so many of these case studies, you start to realize that about 95% of humans do not need more upregulation. They actually need more downregulation. Now, the exception to that would be someone who is more on the side of depressive. So if someone is tending to have more depressive qualities. And there's a difference between someone who's just tired and actually needs more sleep, and they confuse that for depression. And sometimes, like, they used to come into my clinic and I'd look at them and I'd check in with, like, how are you sleeping? They're like, yeah, I'm getting 4 hours per night and I'm on my screen the whole time. And I'm like, you're not depressed, like, you just need good sleep. You're tired for most of the day, right? So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who's actually depressed. And if someone's actually depressed, how that shows up in their physiology, we can actually see that and map that onto the body. And it shows up as a slow heartbeat. So one of the things that we can do is invite them to have a more increased heartbeat by taking a more voluminous breath of air. Right? Even just one breath, you can feel it. Like, you feel a little energized when you take a full breath. And so most people don't need that, but if you're on the more depressive side, then you might need a little fire under your butt. Now, if you're on the more, if you're like most people, if you're on the side of, like, actually, I need to connect with myself, my true nature, my body, feel more, that tends to be more of a softening, more of a slowing, more of a relaxation state. And so knowing that our nervous system controls the way that we think, the way that we feel, and the way that we behave in every single moment is really important. Because when we can tap into that, and we can tap into that with simple practices like breath or movement, we can start to change the way that we think, the way that we feel, and the way that we behave in life. And this is a really powerful tool, right? So we think about this a lot in our family life. I think Loa and I were asking ourselves the question the other day, like, what are the top 3 things that you think about? Like, where's your mind landing most of the time? And I think my number one thing that I think about is what regulation looks like. What do I need? Do I need to upshift? Do I need to downshift? Do I need food? Do I need sleep? Do I need water? Like, basic needs. And so much of the world is walking around on such like an empty tank. Their basic needs are not met. And when your basic needs are not met, your desires and your dream life has no chance, because there's no foundation for it to be built on. And so this is why, like, this free training that I have coming out, it's completely free, because I'm like, I just want the world to have this. I'm like, if you are someone who has like dreams, goals, ambitions, but you're like, I don't even know where to start with some of those bigger ones. I maybe doubt myself, or I'm not sure what that life would even look like for me. This will be the course for you. Okay, the nervous system mastery for busy families that want to increase intimacy and do that even if they're living busy lifestyles. So all of your dreams can come true. How does that happen? Through your behaviors, right? Through your feeling, through what you're manifesting in every moment. But if your body, if your heart needs like rest, it's not going to be orienting to these bigger goals and dreams, right? It's going to be just orienting to like, when can I get more rest? Or when can I get, more love? Or when can I get more touch? Or when can I get more affection? Basic needs are really the foundation for everything else that we build our dreams and our goals on. And so, again, this is the thing that I think about more than anything else in life, is what do I need in this moment? And also now I often think about, what does my family need? Does Loa need a break? Does our baby need food, right? Like it's really in your face when you have a baby, and your parents will understand. It's like it's a game of game of guessing between a few different options. They need food, they need sleep, they need a hug, they need their diaper changed, right? And we forget that as adults, we're not all that different. We're not all that different. And the reason we're not all that different is because we still have these basic needs, right? We still have these basic needs. So how do we do that? Well, a good place to start is educating yourself on the nervous system, right? Because again, the nervous system changes the way we think, feel, and behave. So I know I'm talking about this a lot, but like I've got a free course coming out. Just DM me or drop a comment, and I'll send you the link to that course. I'm going to be sharing all the tips and tricks and the actual practices that my wife and I use every day in that, because nervous system regulation is number one, right? Nervous system regulation is number one. That allows us to emotionally connect, right? There's kind of 3 levels of relating. I've talked about this before. Number 1 is you have a body and you have a nervous system, and that's like basic needs, and like we can even physically connect, and maybe we can even have some sex, you know? It's like that. It's a very, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's very beautiful, very primal. It's very first level relating, right? The second level of relating is in the heart. Right? The second level of relating is in the heart. And so there's the acknowledgement that yes, we have a body and a nervous system, and we also have emotions, and these emotions fluctuate and change and are beautiful, right? Like they're beautiful. Your love, your sadness, your joy, your vulnerability, like all of that is so beautiful, right? And to share that with another, to really create intimacy with another is so special. But we can't get to that second level of relating if our nervous system's all out of whack, right? So firstly, regulate our nervous system. Secondly, feel into your heart, right? Feel into your heart. And this is our second level of relating. The third level of relating is a whole another podcast, but the third level of relating is connecting through the soul, right? We have a body, we have a nervous system, level 1, we have a heart, and we have emotions and feelings, number 2. Number 3 is we have a soul. And that can be a really deep, beautiful way to connect. But again, if our emotions or our nervous system are all out of whack, it's going to be hard to really find connection to our truer self or our soul self. So all of these are kind of steps. And the first step is like, get your butt into the nervous system mastery course that I've got coming out. That'll be very shortly coming out. Okay, so that's number 1 is nervous system regulation. That's a great place to start. And in there's so much that I could say about the nervous system regulation, so I have to be careful not to totally geek out and overwhelm you with stuff, and this is why I'm creating this course. And so that it's going to have it's a free course. It's going to have emotional regulation, nervous system regulation. It's going to teach you like how to create daily check-ins, mini check-ins with your partner that don't take a lot of time, so you can go about your day doing all this. Like, listen, I want you to live a full life of like making money and going on vacation and taking care of your kids, like having all of that, and have a beautiful relationship where you feel loving, you feel connected, you feel that your relationship is not like withering away. You know, it's like that's like the foundation for so much of the rest of this stuff to blossom. Okay, so mini check-ins and connection points, effective communication skills. So through understanding how we communicate to each other and the simple nuances that make such a world of a difference, right? When we're able to catch ourselves and respond rather than react, right? It's like when your partner says to you, like, when your partner says to you, "You bombard me with texts all the time," you're like, "Whoa, I do what?" Like, you feel attacked in that, right? And there's just a better way of communicating it, right? There's a better way of, instead of saying, you did this, there's a more conscious way of taking responsibility for all of our own emotions. And in relationship, that can be a really peaceful arena to play in. And so, another way of saying that might be, I feel overwhelmed when I receive multiple texts from you at once. Right? So you're communicating the same thing, but there's just a minor change. And so often that minor change, I sound like a broken record here, but that minor change comes back to, are you in a regulated state? Is your nervous system in a state, in a place of like, oh, like I can receive these text messages and let that land, notice how I feel about it, and then craft a response, and then give that response back to my partner in a beautiful way, right? In a beautiful way. So that comes back down to like, okay, how regulated am I? Am I in a fight or flight where I'm like, I'm ready to fight? Like, you always bombard me with texts, right? It's like, it's so aggressive. So we have to get clear on how do we create a regulated state. Again, I'm going to give you all these tips in our free course, Nervous System Mastery for busy families that want to connect more. Okay, so the other really powerful thing around creating a lifestyle that's regulated, right? Creating a lifestyle that you are not rushing ahead, you're not fighting for, you're not running from, you're in it, you're feeling it, you're experiencing it, is understanding the power of touch, right? And this can be self-touch, but this also can be touch with your partner. And what we are comfortable with in terms of touch, right? Because touch can be the most devastating, hurtful experience if it's not consensual or it's not wanted. But touch can also be the most healing gift that we can give to ourselves or to another human. And so in this lifestyle that you dream of, you likely prefer the latter, right? The healing quality of touch. And that quality of touch is only available from, again, a regulated state, or from a state where we understand our own nervous system, our own boundaries, our own needs, our own desires, right? We can only even understand our own desires when we're in a regulated state. Otherwise, our mind and our body and our hearts are just like oriented to like, how do I fight, or how do I flight, or how do I just freeze up, right? And we need to get past that level, from the first level of relating to the second level of relating, to be like, like open to like, touch me, right? Like, to want to engage in this intimate practice, to want to give and receive with our partner and our families. Okay, so these are the main techniques that I want to share with you. All of this is to say, if you want to learn more about this, go drop me a DM if you're following along live. Drop me a DM or a comment on YouTube. I'll send you the link. It'll also be in the show notes. And we are going to dive into nervous system regulation for busy couples and families that want to master their nervous system to create more intimacy, more connection, even if they're living busy lives like Loa and myself are. In that, we're going to dive into how to create first and second level relating, right? It's like the relating through the body and the nervous system, and then secondly, relating through the heart, like getting to that place where we're not so fight or flighty, that we can we can open up and be with our own emotions and be with our partner's emotions. We can hold space for each other. And we're going to learn about what that's like to do emotional check-ins routinely with your partner, to create rituals around that, to have mini connections, like mini moments where you have created strengthened bonds with your partner, and these don't take long. Like we can really have incredible connections in just the micro moments, and those micro moments add up because your whole life is just a series of micro moments. Effective communication skills, so learning how to change the little things that make a world of difference, and that all comes from a regulated state. And lastly, we're going to learn a little bit about the power of touch and how and when that's available in a way that heals your relationship, that heals your own wounds, that heals your nervous system, that heals your family, and thus the generations to follow you. So this is my life's work. Like, this is what I'm here for. This is a free training. So again, just drop a DM if you want to be part of that. Drop a comment if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on a podcast and there's nowhere to drop a comment, just reach out to me on Instagram. I'm here for you guys, and I want you guys to have this content. I want you guys to master your nervous system. It should just be common knowledge by now. But I've spent so many years in this game and learning about my own nervous system, my family's nervous system, my thousands and thousands of clients that I've worked with and taken through really deep nervous system regulation practices like breath work and craniosacral therapy. So I'm really grateful to be able to share this with you, and I think that every family should be equipped with this knowledge. So can't wait to share this with you. We'll send you all of the links below. Mwah! I love you, love you, love you. Have an amazing rest of your day and just an incredible life. Bye for now.